Donald Denworth Dundas, Daddy. How do I encapsulate him in 1 minute? I will utilize an acrostic to assist me in paying homage that could easily take me a lifetime. D. Dynamic personality, very charming. O. Optimistic and orderly. N. No nonsense sort of guy. A. Attire. You can have anything you want in life if you dress for it, and that he did. T. Took great pride in caring for the needs of his family as a Dundas patriarch. D. Disciplined, no matter place or time. U. Uniquely made by God. N. Neat. Obsessive to a fault. No paper on ground, clothes, color coordinated and precisely hung. D. Distinguished palate for great food and wine. A. Ambitious, always soaring to new heights, hence the birth of Dendock. S. Sharp-witted, that's my dad, and a whole lot more.
My father was the first to fully honor my spirit, my soul, the things that I was interested in, like pets, fish, guinea pigs. He used to subscribe to National Geographic magazine and Mad magazines, which I loved, but I secretly think he was reading them too. He liked them too. For the music, they always music that everybody loved. A Sunday especially, playing the music. And he encouraged me to sew. So he would give me pocket money to get fabric and patterns to sew. And so I taught myself to sew from a very early age. Nobody taught me. I remember as an adult, when I first made my mosquito repellent, he asked me 2 questions. Did you think labor and transportation? And you know something, I hadn't. So the astute businessman that he was also gave me that kind of grounding. And there was a land in St. Mary on a Sunday. I used to go with him there, and even to see his clients in St. Anne when he was at Condition there and Associated Contractors. So Boogabop, walk good, go on walk good. You were the first to honor my soul.
Mr. D, Mr. Dundas, Dennie, Boogabop, the Bop, Daddy, Dad, or Father, my father. It's hard to do a tribute in a minute, but just to say that Daddy loved all his family, and he was in support of each and every one of us in our various endeavors. And of course, I felt the love and support at all times. I could and would pass everything by him before I made any major decisions, and based on his guidance, it would always be very successful, whether it was job, financial, or family related. And that leads me to 2 life lessons. I interacted with him a lot, and so when I bought my house, I wanted to buy a car, and carry me down to the deal and him hype me out and tell me how to choose all the features on the car. And on the way back up from buying the car, going to the bank to get the deposit, he just turned to me and said, "Can you live in a car?" And that was it. I just went and got my bill of quantities and put on the extension to my house, and that's the best decision I've ever made financially in my whole entire life. And the other one was about honesty and integrity. And the message was, do not steal. Me and my little brother David, who used to run up and down with, but take off the people and plumb off of the tree. Well, me I tell you, say my father give me a beating. The plum them hang over our side, you know. But do not steal. It's not our plum, it's not your tree. And those 2 life lessons have stuck with me throughout my whole life and have guided me. And I thank you, Daddy, for those lessons in my life. And I salute you, Donald Denworth Dundas. You are larger than life. And it will be impossible for anyone to forget you. And I will always love you. And you're always in my heart, in my thought, in my mind. And I just want to say, Daddy, sleep in eternal peace. And we'll meet you again on the other side. Love you. Big up.
My father saved me. My life was on a sharp decline. repeating fifth form, failing all levels twice, and by a twist of fate, I ended up going back to live with him at age 16. It was the best thing to happen to me, though I didn't think so at the time. Through Daddy's rigorous discipline, support, and insistence on academic excellence, my F grades improved to B's and A's through college. It was his suggestion in 1990 to pursue becoming a chartered accountant. He was proud when I qualified in 95. My drive to be successful in business comes from him. He was not one to be emotional. He showed his love by his deeds and his kindness. The memory that stands out to me the most is when I decided to migrate to Canada, and for my last 2 weeks in Jamaica, he insisted I spend it with him. We had such a great time. The dinners, hosting my friends and family. But on that final day, as I walked out of the gate of 37A Barbican Road, he hugged me and he said, "Son, I'm going to miss you." Well, Denny, I'm the one missing you now. Rest in power.
Hi everyone, I'm Trisha Nicole, Denny's last daughter. I grew up seeing a father who was stern, but I would say that he mellowed with age. I grew up seeing someone who was hardworking, and he passed on various principles and sayings that I will always hold dear. Daddy was quite in his own way supportive, and I can recall in particular when I had surgery some years ago and he would come on consecutive Saturdays and check in with me and see what's happening. Sundays became a special time for us, especially Sundays with coffee. And that's a memory that's very dear, very special to me, and something I'll never forget. So Daddy, I'm really going to miss you.
Hey everyone, so this is my tribute to Daddy. A tribute to Daddy. Daddy, a man of few words, stern rules, and good principles. A mathematical wizard, a trait he passed on to me. A technical drawing guru. Boy, one thing I can say for someone who was a math whiz, he wasn't very much into the computing world at all. Daddy, a father, a mentor, always keeping you on the straight and narrow path to a successful life, but still giving you a little break, in quotes, here and there. Daddy, a father to all his children, he provided for all of us and made sure we all had the guidance we needed. Daddy, bald and cool. A quote, a father is neither an anchor to hold us back, nor a snail to take us there, but a guiding light whose love shows us the way. Unknown.
Hi family. Memories of Uncle Denny are very good Scrabble player. His favorite song, I Can't Stop Loving You by Ray Charles, but does not like losing, a lousy loser, but will not let you forget when he wins. Ha! May God give him eternal peace. My sympathy goes out to all. Blessings, love, love. His niece, Pat.
Where to start? I represent the family of Corolla Cleone Dundas. Rolla, younger sister to the late but great Denot Denworth Dundas, but always Uncle D to us. Mum is unwell at the moment, so I am speaking on behalf of the whole family. This farewell not being the only one we have endured in the last 10 months, we remember them all. It's heavy hearts that sends our farewell, wishing that Corona didn't stop us from boarding a flight to be there, just like Uncle D had always been for us, whenever we came to Jamaica. Uncle D's home was always a safe haven for us, be it Chevy Chase, Meadowbrook or Barbican Road, where I believe most of the extended family have visited and stayed at one time or another. Uncle D's trips to England were always a joyous occasion if he came with Uncle Grantel, his wife Merle, or other cousins from the family. There was always a stopover at Rollers as a base before heading off and returning from wherever. Memories too many to put in this message, but always close to our hearts and minds. The great man has left the building, and will sorely be missed by each and every one of us. Wishing our beloved uncle a blessed journey as he transitions on his way to join the family who have already departed. We are left with an empty hole where he once held the title Dundas Family Patriarch. Good night, Uncle Dennie. We love you and miss you 100%. Sleep well, Uncle. Sleep well. No more pain.
My Uncle Dennie was a patriarch of our family. Even when he was confined to home by illness and not communicating much, it was comforting to know he was there. He was the glue that kept our family together. He would know how Uncle Basil was doing and what Edmund was up to. He and Auntie Merle gave us a Christmas dinner tradition that ensured that our family stayed together, stayed connected, exposed us to fine cuisine and finer liquor, a tradition worth preserving even when he no longer could. Personally, I will miss Uncle Dennie's quiet support and love. He was not effusive, but he would accept my hug with his signature smile. He was there at life's key moments, with a fountain pen when I graduated, a little table and chairs when my apartment was bare, a welcoming yes when I asked if I could bring Paul and the children to Christmas dinner in '08, a phone call to check up on me now and again, and a wry smile and laugh when he told his jokes that he thought were way funnier than they actually were. Uncle Dennie was a good sounding board, friend, big brother, and father figure to my father. It was good to know that my daddy had you, Uncle. Our family life was richer because of who you were.
Uncle Dennie was my dad Grantel's beloved older brother. I remember visiting our grandparents in Jericho and seeing this picture of him as a young, handsome man on the cusp of adulthood. He was determined, and he was disciplined, and he became a successful businessman. But to our family, he was so much more than that. He was a force for stability in a sometimes unstable world. After church on Sundays, we would visit, and the talks often segued into samplings of their delicious Sunday breakfast. I remember the Christmas dinners where he cultured our palates with his prized Benedictine wine. When my mom had electrical issues, he'd send someone to come and fix them. And when my maternal grandmother got sick in New York, Uncle Dennie and my dad put together to buy a plane ticket for my Aunt Marley to go and visit her. This was the character of Uncle Dennie. For all he gave, for all he taught us, thank you.